I guess the best possible advice I can give in regards to the protocols, and if a teacher wanted to bring an elder into the classroom, is get somebody that's out there in the country that does ceremony, that does, because it's a little bit different. The urban and the rural, it's a little bit different. I've seen the differences. But if you want to get a traditionalist to come to the classroom, then of course you have to pay for gas to come in. You have to maybe you might put him up for a night for a hotel and look after his meals type of thing, and go the proper protocol type of thing. And also but the best possible way is to take a field trip and make your arrangements ahead of time and say, look, we want to witness an actual sweat lodge being built. We want you to explain the different types of lodges. Not all the lodges are shaped the same. Like the Thunderbird Lodge, if you see it from the top, they all the sticks meet to the center. Whereas an animal one, the sticks will go across like this. And there's different types of sweat lodges. There's just not one, there's many. And many different protocols for those types of things, many different approaches. And also when you ask an elder, make sure you equip that elder. What is it that they want to know? Also, you try and prepare that elder, like maybe you have a list of questions, because the elder could go different directions and you might not get to the point where you want to hear. And also, when you get an elder to come to the classroom, try and make that person feel comfortable as best as they can, because what they see in the country is totally different from what they see here in the city. And also, in regards to getting an elder to come into your classroom, it's something that you need to know as to what, if they want to smudge or not, or if they bring a symbol, if they bring a piece of rock or a feather or a stick, or maybe a Métis sash or something like that, that you don't laugh at them, that they'll tell you what it means. Why is it that they're bringing in these things? Also, you got to remember to put the public at ease. You got to tell them that it's not a religious thing, it's a spiritual thing. Religion and spirituality are two different things. And get that elder to explain the difference between spirituality and religion. And religion, everything is structured. Everything is done in a church. You do your weddings, you do your funerals, you do your baby naming. Whereas in our spirituality, everything around us has a spirit. We're aware of that. And the sky, the sun, the moon, the river, everything all around us has a spirit. It's not about religion, it's spirituality. That is, the elder that understands spirituality is a pretty good elder to get to come to the class. Okay, question number one, what is the protocol and its significance in the Indigenous communities? It all depends on what type of knowledge, what type of information that you're looking for. And protocols are different from each language group. And protocol is just a polite way of saying, approaching a knowledge keeper or a traditional person in a way where you get the best information for what is it that you're seeking. And it's important that you follow protocol, because there's a reason why we do and say these things. For instance, if you want to learn a song, you go to the elder's home, the one that knows the song, and the person will tell you about the history. They'll tell you who passed it on to him, and the history of that song, the meaning and the purpose and the uses of those songs. They'll also tell you the spirit helper or the spirits that own that song. And usually you approach an elder, you give them a tobacco and say, could you teach me the song? Well, if it's a bear song, an eagle song, turtle song, horse song, there's different types of ceremonies, different types of songs, and different types of drum beats. And when you're learning a song, sometimes the elder will say, we'll sing 4 nights in a row in the wintertime. That includes a pipe ceremony, that includes cloth, that includes berries, that includes a gift to the elder, because you're learning and is passing that song to you. The elders always say, try and learn these songs, because I'm not going to take them with me in the spirit world. You need to know them. You need to pass them on down to your children, and so on, your grandchildren, and so on, so that our culture, our language, our customs, our traditions, and our belief system will continue on. That's just one example of a protocol, approaching an elder with a song. The different cultures and the different tribes have their own protocols. And the best person to do the work between the elder is called Oskapeos. Oskapeos is a traditional server. It's equivalent to being an altar boy. But Oskapeos serves the men, women, and children, and the elders. And the Oskapeos is kind of like the person that goes in between the elder and the person seeking knowledge. And these are the things that we do. At least I approach Oskapeos. If I go to a different community, like let's say a Cree community, I always hook up with Oskapeos first before I hook up with an elder. Then he'll hook you up with the appropriate elder of what you're asking for, or what knowledge that you're trying to seek. And the protocol, that's one protocol example. And it's all similar, where you have to pay for that information. You just can't take it. If you just approach an elder without any tobacco, without any kind of gifts, without anything, that song or that teachings will not stick. That song or that teachings will not make sense to you. Whereas if you do the proper protocol, the song and the teachings that come with it, it'll grow from there. And also, it'll give you the power, that critical thinking, where you could figure out what is it that the elder is saying. Well, if it's a he or a she, then you can figure it out from there. That's the importance and significance of a protocol in regards to approaching an elder, or somebody a knowledge keeper, or somebody that knows their way, type of thing. That's one example. There are many ways to approach an elder. Also, it's the same thing like approaching Mother Earth, where before you take a medicine, a flower or a plant for medicine purposes, you have to talk to that plant. You have to talk to Mother Earth as to why you're going to use that, how you're going to use it, the purpose and intent of it. Then you say Kaagisamoke, which is forgiveness and understanding, generosity, compassion. Then you put your tobacco in the ground. Then you gently take what is it that you need. Then from there you take it home and look after it properly, and not disrespectfully. And because it's a medicine, it has a power, it has a spirit, And those are some of the things that you need to know in regards to the significance and importance of the protocol, and not only Indigenous communities, but also in the plant world, the animal world, the spirit world, and all the things that you see. There's protocol. Before we chop down a tree for a ceremony, there's a fruit offering, there's a tobacco offering, there's a smudge offering, there's a cloth offering before we take its life. This is what's the importance of the protocol, so that the tree spirit can help. The tree spirit will lift a lot of burdens from a lot of people, and the tree spirit gives us so many things. The tree itself gives us so many things, and that's what we're thankful for, is giving thanks and recognition, giving credit where credit is due type of thing. Number 2, who is an elder? An elder, to me, is it's from a different culture. In my way, the Soto way, Kchanisnabe is equivalent to an elder. The terminology of a person that has lifelong learning, teachings, and sharing the traditions and cultures. An elder is supposed to love everyone equally. An elder is supposed to teach about love. An elder is not supposed to be involved in politics or anything like that, gambling or anything like that, swearing or fighting or drinking. An elder is supposed to stay away from all those negative behaviors. An elder is also supposed to be fair. And also, an elder doesn't pick sides. He tells the truth, whether it's a he or she, truth and honesty. And also, an elder is supposed to have a lot of compassion. When somebody loses a loved one, that person is supposed to be there to help counsel, to help comfort, to help. An elder knows about ceremonies. An elder will go to a ceremony, whether they have gas money or not. They'll make every attempt to make it to a ceremony. A true traditional elder has a lot of faith that things will be provided to him or her when they get to a feast or to a ceremony. An elder is not a person that as soon as you're 65 and get all his pension, that's the automatic terminology of an elder. An elder could be a person that's been passed down a ceremony or a lodge. You could get that ceremony at a young age, maybe 30 years old, maybe 40, maybe 50. Because you have that lodge or that ceremony, you're praying for a lot of people. Not just yourself, but a lot of people. That's what an elder does. And a ceremony maker prays for everybody, even the other cultures, even the other people that aren't around the ceremony, that can't make it. And an elder is very thoughtful. An elder is very supportive. And an elder also loves their grandchildren. An elder loves other people's children. And an elder will also borrow a spirit name from the spirit world to give to that child. There are many duties, what you call an elder. In our way, there's a lot of labels to an elder. Tamabiagan is one of them, where one of the 4 sacred places an elder sits. There's a position 1, 2, 3, and 4. You gotta graduate all those 4 positions before you get to number 1. There's also a fire keeper before you come into a lodge. There's also a person that smudges to cleanse the lodge. That's another job, another level. There's also a person that sits where the pipes are. Know the level of the pipes. Know the song structure. Know the ceremony structure. Know what next to do. Then there's also a person that sings songs. There's also a person that's another level. There's also a person that does ceremonies. That's another level. So there's different types of levels. There's also a person that knows how to do the spirit journey prayer, the funeral celebration. There's not too many people that could do that. Not everyone could do that. There's only far and few selected people that could do that spirit journey prayer. So that's another level. There's also a level. There's different types of levels. So an elder is just one word. But if you go to the Nuckaway, an elder, there's different types of job, rituals, ceremonies that they do. And those are labels. You got to learn. You got to learn those rituals. You got to learn the structures. You got to learn. You got to know what to do because people are going to depend on you. And there's some elders there that are healers. They use cymbals. They use rattles. They use drums. They use different types of instruments. And not everyone could be a healer. So when you say what is an elder, that's a big question. But if you want to narrow it down to see, if you want to find a healer, if you want somebody to learn your songs, those elders could be pointed out to you. Those people that specialize in that job, in that area, could be pointed out to you. So an elder to me is a person that has white hair. And that white hair means wisdom. And we should respect people with white hair. And they went through and they know about life. And the elder will counsel. The elder will give the best possible advice. And sometimes there's elders there that could see in the past. There's elders there that could see forward, visionaries. Not everyone could do that. So there's different types of categorical elders. So there's a whole bunch of them. You just can't just because you see a brown face doesn't mean that he's already an elder with white hair. They specialize in different things. They specialize and we have to try to learn all those things so that we could try and help the people in regards to the ceremonies and the protocols and that type of thing. Question number 3, what are some of the protocols in getting in touch with an elder? First and foremost, you got to know what is it that you're seeking. If you want to sort of, it's like if you have problems in your family, your life, it's like taking a layer, just like an onion, you're peeling off a layer. And if you go and approach an elder with the proper protocol, the proper way, they'll maybe take one layer off. Then you go approach another elder, whether it's a male or female, they'll take another layer off until you get to the root of what is it, the problem that you have. Eventually, you'll see it. Eventually, you'll resolve it. Eventually, you will deal with it. But in regards to getting in touch with an elder, again, my best possible advice is to put the word out. Go through a scapios. Go through somebody that works with an elder. And this scapios will get in touch with an elder that specializes in that particular thing that you are seeking. And there are many examples. And when you approach an elder, make sure you shake their hands and show proper respect. Also, you give that person tobacco on your left side and shake hands on your right. And also, sometimes people will figure you out when you give them a hug or something like that, that the elder knows that you need help. And the elder will do the best of his or her ability. With tobacco, you also give print or cloth, 1 meter, and maybe 2 prints, maybe a blanket, or maybe some monetary gift, depending on what you value, depending on how you value your life, depending on what is it that you're seeking, how much you value. And not to give yourself broke or anything like that, but just comfortably where the elder will accept your gift in a good way and do the ceremony to the best of his or her ability. And the proper protocol of an elder is to show humbleness, that you're not here, that you don't know everything. You also ask the elder genuinely for his or her help, also to try and help you out. And the elder sometimes will get you to confess. Sometimes the elder will get you to speak. Sometimes the elder will get you involved in a ceremony. And sometimes the elder will instruct you as to what is it that you need to do. Not only the before care, but also the aftercare. For instance, if you go to see an elder and you try to quit drinking, you go to a ceremony, you feel good, then you go and drink a couple of days later, then you just wasted the elder's time. You wasted your time because you weren't genuine enough to handle the problem, to try and get away with that problem. There's different things that an elder does and different prayers that the elders say. And sometimes it's called kagis mokil, forgiveness. But if you, an example of quitting drinking, and you ask that elder to pray to quit drinking, and you go and drink a couple of days later, you've already got yourself into trouble. You got the elder into trouble because he lied to the spirits. You lied to the spirits. And you can get that elder in trouble as well. It's called Bahtawin. It's called Wujinewin. It'll keep coming back to haunt you. It'll keep coming back. So when you get in touch with an elder, you've got to make sure that you're genuine. You also have to be pure. You can't have any thoughts of negativeness. You can't have an unclean mind. You got to cleanse your body. You got to smudge. You also got to do away with all these negative behaviors in order to be pure when you see an elder, so that they could purely address what is it that you need to address, so that the thoughts process, so that spiritual process will come in and help you and also help the elder as well. Why is tobacco important to the Indigenous people? Tobacco is a product of Mother Earth. It's a medicine plant. It's a plant that is given to us by the Creator to use. Every time we smoke tobacco, it sends our thoughts and our prayers up to the Creator. The tobacco way back then was different from the tobacco today. The tobacco was pure in regards to a product of Mother Earth. There's no chemicals. It's just pure right from the ground. You don't see the gifts in there. But also it's a mixture of maybe some willow bark, and it also a mixture of berry plants called kinnikinnick. And that was important. And we tied it up in a little bundle, and we'd send a scapios or a messenger to go and give to an elder. Go ask that elder to come to the ceremony. That was his or her invitation to the ceremony. Then they would get another tobacco in the ceremony. Then they'd also smoke the pipe together. At least the men, anyway, the men. And this is where the tobacco, it helps us because it's pure. And also it delivers our prayers and our thoughts to the spirit world. Today's tobacco is different. There's chemicals, it's altered, it's different. But still I can't say anything bad about it because it's still a product of Mother Earth. So the tobacco is always important in whatever we do. Even if we build a fire, we put tobacco into the fire to make it sacred, so that those charcoals that we use to make smudge will work for our benefit, because there's two spirits there. the charcoal fire spirit, and also the Mantuscapeus spirit that's in there that helps with the smoke, that carries our prayers. Also, we put tobacco, it's first and foremost, even in the funerals, when we bury our people carry tobacco to the spirit world. That's how important tobacco is to us. And tobacco was given to us to use for anything and everything that we do. It could be used as a medicine. It also used as an offering to take plants, to also take different types of things from Mother Earth. You don't always take. If you just take like that without offering, it won't work. Nothing will stick. Nothing will work because you haven't talked to it. You didn't give it proper respect, the proper protocol in regards to the importance of why we use tobacco in our ceremonies. It's first and foremost. And when you give tobacco to another human being, it's showing respect. It's also showing that you're seeking knowledge. It's also showing that you want some answers or the thought process for you to get answers. These are some of the things in regards to why we use tobacco. What is a tobacco offering? A tobacco offering is a pinch of tobacco, or some people will use one cigarette. And it's usually enough for to fill a bowl, a pipe bowl, inside a pipe. When you put tobacco into a pipe, it's enough, just enough, one pinch. That's what is a tobacco offering type of thing. But some people, they give out full pouches of tobacco. Some people give out full packages of cigarettes. But some people give out individual cigarettes. Some people give out little bundles of tobacco. Anyway, it's all tobacco type of thing. As for me, I love it when I get a full pouch of tobacco because I use it for my ceremony, for sweat lodge ceremonies. I also use it to pray, to sing, and to give thanks. Because that tobacco, when it's in a pouch like that, it's not sentenced to do anything. You yourself could sentence that by sentencing, meaning your prayer will go with that tobacco. Your prayer will help you with what is it that you're asking for. But sometimes too, when you get tobacco, a pinch of tobacco at a ceremony, some people raise it up to the sky, to the Creator. Some people raise it down to Mother Earth. Some people raise it to the four directions, south, west, north, and east. And some people point it to the fire. Some people point to the smoke. And some people point it to the rock. After you do your tobacco offering, like that, the directions, you could put that tobacco where the water is, in the river, to help cleanse. You could put that water by a tree, asking for life, asking for strength and flexibility. You can put that tobacco into a rock, by a rock, to ask for strength and justice, and also the truth and honesty. You can put that rock into the fire. You can ask that fire spirit to burn away the negative things that's inside your body that you don't see, and also some of the things that are blocking your way that you don't see. You could put that tobacco where the smoke is, where the Mantuscapeus, that server for the Creator, will help you. Those are some of the things like good working skills, where you're not lazy, where you also be fruitful and bountiful in the thing that you're doing. You could put that tobacco and give it to the wind to blow away all your problems. There's a lot of things that you could do with the tobacco offering. Any one of those things, any one, they'll hear you, because even if you don't say any words, the thought process, they know what you think about already in all those directions. So the tobacco offering, if you see something that you can't explain, or something wonderful, something beautiful like a rainbow. Sometimes I put a cigarette out for the rainbow because of the colors. Because after it storms, the Creator says, I'm sorry, and He gives a beautiful color, that there's beautiful days coming after. But that storm cleanses and washes things away. There's a purpose for it. And we put tobacco for the thunders. We put tobacco offering for anything and everything that we see. Even if you see an eagle fly by, some people will take a cigarette and they'll put it on the ground and offer to that eagle, because that eagle carries prayers and thoughts up to the sky as the highest fire that we have. So when you ask, say, what is a tobacco offering? There's all kinds of things that you offer to Mother Earth. There's all kinds of offerings. You'll never ever run out to do tobacco offerings. That's why some people carry cigarettes or tobacco around in their pouch, so that if they're going to take a rock that they find walking on the beach or somewhere, they pick up a rock. Before they pick that up, they'll put a tobacco offering and say, I'm going to take you home because you're so beautiful. You remind me of something and give me strength. That type of thing. So that's your tobacco offering is a little pinch. Just like enough for one cigarette, enough to fill the pipe bowl. That's what a tobacco offering is. Instructions for offering tobacco to an elder. It all depends on, like when we get invited to a ceremony, we get a pinch of tobacco or even one cigarette and come to my ceremony. But when we get there, if you're one of the sitting elders, you would get a full package of cigarettes or a full package of tobacco. It's up to you what you're going to use that tobacco for. Like I use my tobacco for sweat lodges. But if I get cigarettes, I will open those cigarette box, and I'll offer some to the fire, and I'll offer some to the rock, and I'll offer some to the spirit that they're honoring at that ceremony. That's what I use that tobacco offering for. Also, the elder will know what to do with that tobacco. And sometimes when we get pinched tobacco, when we get there, we put it in the offering. Or if we see somebody that likes smoking tobacco, we go and give that person that tobacco. It's up to that person to say thank you. Nanakodam, nanaskomin in Cree. That person will say thank you on your behalf. And when you make somebody happy inside, the spirit, his protector, her protector, his or her protector, will be the one to give you the gifts because you made that person happy inside, because that person maybe likes tobacco, maybe likes smoking tobacco. And when you give them your portion and sharing is such a powerful word and a powerful virtue value in our culture. So those are some of the things that we're mindful for. Those are some things that we do in regards to offering tobacco to an elder or to another person. And for sure, I think I've already instructed you, like you offer your tobacco on your left side, you receive it on your left side, and you shake hands. And these are some of the things that we do, at least in Soto country, in regards to the offering of tobacco to an elder. What is a pipe ceremony? Well, a pipe ceremony is a ceremony where we communicate to the spirit world, where we communicate to the Creator, where we communicate to Mother Earth, and all the directions and all the spirits that were put here. You got to remember that the animals and the plant world were here before the human beings. The rock was the first one that came out, the rock. And when the Creator made this world, the first one to appear was the tree. And when you put a rock and a tree together, you have a thing called upoagan. Upoagan is a pipe, but there's much higher word called ukich in our Soto country, a sacred word that we use. And the pipe is used to communicate with the Creator. We even put pipes in the spirit journey of our loved ones, because they need a pipe up there in the spirit world. Everyone gets one, man, woman, child, elder, when they go to the spirit world, because they need to put tobacco and make offerings when they do their spirit journey. Here, we use a pipe, a live pipe. We use a ceremonial pipe, is what I call a live pipe. And a ceremonial pipe, when you put it together, and when you put the tobacco, you smudge it, because it's sacred. And when you light it, the elder will point to the different directions, and he'll pray to the different directions and the spirits that are put there. It all depends on what kind of ceremony that you have, and that's where the elder will know which direction to point the pipe. And the pipe ceremony was given to us. The pipe was given to us because we recognize a rock, what it means. We recognize a tree, what it means. In my culture, in my history, my grandfathers told me a story of the Creator came down to the white grandfather and to the Anishinaabe grandfather, which is the Indian people. And the Creator, he had this book, and he asked the brown grandfather, do you recognize this? And the brown grandfather flipped through the pages. He couldn't read. And he told the Creator, no, I don't understand this. Then he gave that same book to that white grandfather. And that white grandfather flipped through the pages, and he looked in the sun and he started reading all the words. And he said, yes, I understand this. The Creator then took a tree and a rock and he put it together in a pipe, and he offered it to the white grandfather. Do you recognize this? And the white grandfather just looked at it. Didn't make sense to him. Didn't recognize what a rock means, what a tree means. And he told the Creator, no, I don't know what it means. He took that same pipe and he gave it to the Anishinaabe, the brown grandfather. Do you recognize this? And the brown grandfather thought of it, and he said, yes, the rock is called Anishinaabe. He's put here to speak for us. He's put here to live with us. He's put here to be used by us. And also the tree is given to us. He cleans all the air, gives us our homes, gives us all kinds of things, and he sacrifices life. And that brown grandfather said, yes, I recognize this. Then the Creator he looked to the white, and he said, you're going to worship me, and you're going to use that book to talk to me, to worship me. That's your way of communicating with me. Then he went to the brown grandfather and said, I'll give you the pipe. This is how you communicate with me. This is how you worship me. And this is how it's going to be. This is how you're going to make life and ask for life. So that is why that we use the pipe ceremony in our ceremonies. That's because of our history. That's because of the creation, and that's because of what we're told. All the things that are handed down in a pipe is not written anywhere. It's handed down from generation to generation. It's handed down, the teachings are handed down with it. There's a purpose and intent. Whereas in the book, it's all written down and it's all structured. That's why it's important, pipe ceremony, to understand the pipe. What is the protocol for eagle feathers? You got to understand, again, the eagle. You got to understand the teachings of an eagle. If you can get a song, an eagle song, that's good. You also got to look beyond the physical eagle. You got to go to the thunderbird that you don't see. The thunderbird is the Creator, goes to the Creator. And that's the purest that there is. There is no getting around the eagle. You got to be truthful and honest at all times. You got to try and be pure. Also, you just can't take an eagle feather. You got to earn it. And you just can't take it like that. There's a ceremony that goes with it. A prayer, a song, an offering. And also, when you take that eagle feather, you got to understand what it truly means. When you take that feather, there's two sides of that feather. There's one long side and one short side. The long side is when you continue to do good deeds, when you continue to help people that really need help. But the trick is here not to ask for rewards or seek rewards. Do your good deed and move on. But if you pick the short side of the feather, if you continue to lie, cheat, and steal and get what you want, you're going to cut your life short. You're going to cut your good life short. And that's not the side that you want to pick, because there's two sides in anything and everything that we do. Good and bad, night and day, happy and sad. There's always two opposites all the time. And with that eagle feather, you got to remember that not just one feather could make that bird fly. There's a whole bunch of feathers. When you get a feather, that means you're being honored. Maybe you did an honorable deed, or maybe you showed a virtue value word. For instance, like humility, or even showing the word respect, opening the door for an older person, male or female, or even going to shovel snow for your neighbor in the wintertime where they can't, or just around helping out people. And maybe you did an honorable deed by maybe seeking higher education, or even doing a ceremony. And these are some of the things that you need to keep in mind, that when you see a chief with a whole bunch of feathers, that means they've done some good deeds in their lifetime, that they've earned those feathers, that they're honorable people, that when you see an eagle feather like that, it's a pretty high reward. It's pretty high up there in regards to receiving something from the skies, from the eagle. So eagle feathers, before even we take an eagle for our ceremonies and using the feathers, we have to make a ceremony to that eagle, because we use its wings that are maybe at a Sundance or rain dance ceremony. We have to ask for permission. And that eagle, if you do it in the proper way, through protocol, that eagle will give up its body, and you will get your wings. You'll also get your eagle whistles from there. You'll get your claws from there. You'll get the head from there. You'll get all these good things from there. Nothing goes to waste. And that's what you got to understand, that you don't waste those things when an eagle gives you up its body for use for ceremonies. And you got to understand, you got to know the songs, you got to know the protocol, and you got to know the meaning, the true meaning of an eagle, and what it stands for, and what it represents. Question number 9, what is smudging? Smudging is making smoke, sacred smoke. And I've seen a lot of people do a lot of shortcuts. And in the true smudging that I've been taught is this: you make a fire outside. When you make a fire, there'll be red ambers. And you take those red ambers, that is that fire spirit that you use. You take that red amber and you break off the sweetgrass, or the horse sage, or the buffalo sage, or the mountain sage, and you put it into that red amber. As soon as that sweetgrass touches that red amber, it'll create smoke. Then from there, you smudge your tobacco. You take a little pinch of tobacco, you put it into where that smoke is, beside the smoke. You make an offering there. Also, when you smudge, you fan it with a feather, because that's what the birds, they work with the air, and that's what we use to fan. You don't use your fingers, you don't use a cardboard, you use it properly. You use what the birds are giving you, is the feather. the fan part. And sometimes I use the tail part of a prairie chicken or a bush chicken, because all the feathers are nice and even like this, and you fan it like this. And also you create that smoke. Smudging is a form of cleansing your body, cleansing your mind, cleansing your emotions, and cleansing your spirit, so that you could receive good gifts. Whatever the Creator gives you, you will receive in a pure way. Also, when you smudge, you clarify the air in the room. You don't know it, but it actually chases away the germs. It chases away the negative thoughts. It chases away all these things that we don't see, that we don't need. And also, you'll see a little bit of smoke here in the smudging, but eventually it goes to the air and goes invisible. Those spirits see that from a long ways. Even if we don't see it, even if it turns invisible, they'll see it in the spirit world and they'll come here. Smudging is used to call in the good spirits, to chase away the bad spirits. That's what smudging is. And if smudging is done, you always walk the way the sun goes, in a clockwise position. And also smudging, you smudge, you cleanse everything. You go around the room and that type of thing. And smudge, you never ever blow into the smudge. You never ever blow. Just like you want to give up your life, you want to end your breathing. When you do that to the fire spirit, you don't want to do that. Because the fire spirit, that red ember that you see in the smudging, he said, I'll live with your people. I'll burn away the things that they don't see that's inside their body. And I'll burn away the things that are blocking them. But at the same time too, I'll pull in good things. I'll pull in warmth, generosity, compassion, longevity in life, love, and all those virtue value words. And at the same time too, I will take their tobacco offering and I'll burn it and I'll send it to the Creator and I'll send it to the spirits. I'll send it to whoever. But while they're away visiting, I'll keep their home warm, and I'll keep their children and their grandchildren, and also keep their home in nice warm so that they can come back. That's what I'm going to do for them. And of course the Spirit sanctifier spirit. That's why I sort of grind my teeth when I see somebody taking a lighter, taking a match, and just burning the ends of a sweetgrass and making it go like this. You're mimicking a snake like this. A snake is not a very positive thing in our culture. It's not a very positive thing in the European culture as well. If you're going to smudge, do it properly. And understand what is it that you're doing and all the things that you need. For instance, I use a smudge bowl, which is a seashell. And you ever see a seashell, there's rainbow colors in there. The rainbow lives up in the skies, and it's so beautiful. Also, that seashell, it lives in the water. It stands for cleanliness. It stands for refreshing, rejuvenating. And also when I put that red amber or that charcoal in there, that represents the fire spirit. And when I break off a piece of wheatgrass to make that smoke, then I put my tobacco in there. And then I fan it with a feather. That is the proper way to smudge. I've seen a lot of people take a lot of shortcuts. When they roll up a bowl, horse sage, and they just light it with a match or a lighter, they're forgetting already about the fire spirit. They're just creating smoke through that ball of horse sage that they roll up. Already they're creating a shortcut. They don't even put tobacco with that smoke. They're already bypassing already that person that stands in the smoke. So if you're going to smudge, do it properly. Also, you've got to basically understand all those things that you're using in there. And some people use a frying pan. That's all right. A frying pan comes from the ground. It's the metal. It's the rock. So the rock is used there. So those are some of the things that you need to know in regards to the smudging type of thing. Number 10, What is the sweat lodge ceremony? The proper etiquette for sweat lodge ceremonies. I can only speak to the Soto or the Nuckaway. And sweat lodge is kind of not the proper word. Anybody could sweat. You could run around this room and sweat. And it's inside a building here. And you could call this a lodge. It's not the proper way. It's called Matut Swan in our culture. Matut Swan. But for everyone to understand, everyone calls it a sweat lodge because you do sweat inside the heat and the water runs from your body type of thing. And it's different for different cultures. In my way that I was taught by my teacher, he went to the spirit world. You always get a fresh set of willow sticks, whether if it's 8 sticks, whether if it's 10 sticks, whether if it's 12 sticks, whether if it's 24 sticks. And in my culture, we get a fresh set of sticks for each ceremony, for each lodge, because my teacher said that you can only use those sticks once. They're just like a rain dance lodge. You only use that lodge or those trees once. You can't use them over and over again. But it's different for other cultures. And when you go get a fresh set of willow sticks, before you cut it down, you talk to that little willow tree and say, I'm going to take your life. I'm going to make a lodge, and I'm going to talk to the Creator, and I'm going to sing. And I'm going to use this lodge for this purpose. For instance, healing, or maybe a bear lodge for healing. Then you put tobacco, then you cut it, you trim it. You take whatever number of sticks that you need, and you don't step over them. You bring them carefully, because this is the Creator's lodge that you're going to build. You're very careful. And also, we take another stick that's about 4 or 5 feet long, and that's the one that'll you bend and you bring the rocks in. We don't use, in my lodge that I build, I don't use any string to tie up the sticks. I use the leaves and the branches to do that. I also, in the lodge, you bring in 2 drumsticks. That's to help place the rocks in, plus you use it to little drumsticks. And also you bring a Y-shaped slingshot little stick where you sit with your pipe inside the lodge. You put your pipe on there. Also, I use about a 3-foot piece again, and you split the end where you bring in your embers, your hot charcoals to bring inside your lodge and to smudge inside the sweat lodge lodge. You need that. Also, you might maybe need a shovel or something to dig a hole in the center. And also, sometimes when you put the rocks, if you have 8 sticks, you put 8 rocks in the fire. You have 12 sticks, you put 12 rocks into the fire. That's the Soto way type of thing. And also the leaves, the end leaves we cut, and that's our splasher from the water, and we splash to the rocks to make steam type of thing. So there's different ways, and before an elder goes in there, he instructs the Scapios to bring in 1 rock with that bent willow stick and put it in the center. Then the elder calls the 4 directions. Then the elder goes in there and says, bring in the rest of the rocks, bring in the water. Then the people come in and sit in there, whoever's going to get in there. Then the Scapios gives the elder the pipe and the fruit and the cloth and tobacco. Then they say what the prayer is for, what this lodge is for. Then the elder, of course, lights up the pipe and makes a circle and does the offering, the cloth, the fruit, and everything that's in there type of thing. And then everyone gets to smoke the pipe. Then from there, when the pipe is put down, then you cover it. Then the elder will say a forgiveness round, a forgiveness. Then he splashes rocks 4 times. Then from there he'll sing a rock song, or then he'll also sing maybe a bear song if it's a bear lodge. If it's a Thunderbird song, it'll sing a Thunderbird song. It all depends on what kind of lodge type of thing. And we bend those sticks and we make it like a dome shape. And some people say, my teacher told me that we're going back to Mother Earth. You don't need to sit with the woman in this lodge, what I'm giving you. The women are already represented by that hole in the ground. And when you put water to the rocks, it's your umbilical cord. You're connecting to our true Mother Earth. And good or bad, poor or wealthy, she'll never ever reject you. That's how powerful that love of that woman is. And to my knowledge, I've never sat with women in my lodge. I pray for them. There's a part that you have to pray for them. You think about them. And there's a part that you have to speak for them. But if they do come, they usually sit outside the lodge and they get the chance to eat the fruit, if there is fruit in there. So we include them there as well. Then when you lift up the pipe, then there's a special prayer to bring down the pipe. You just can't pull it off like that. There's a special level prayer that you use, a special level prayer from Mother Earth and the different directions, and sort of like the creation. And that's when you're done, when that pipe hits the ground, then that's when you pull it apart. So there's a proper way of doing things. And I hope that we don't take any more shortcuts like that. And it's hard to describe without you seeing it, or without you sort of being out there. I can't teach about a sweat lodge here in this cement place. I can't teach about a sweat lodge here in this community of Saskatoon. It's got to be done out there in the country. It's got to be done where the willows are. It's got to be done where you can make a fire. Out here you need a fire permit. Out here you need permission to cut trees. Out there the only permission that we have is when we go talk to a tree, we put offering, and we can take as much willows as much as we need. And in my lodge, sweat lodge, I only use those sticks once. Then after maybe one season, I take them apart and I go and pile them up in a neat pile somewhere, then make room for another lodge to be built in that area. And you just leave it the way, you try to leave the land the way you found it. And that's what I do. There's probably other things that I forgot in there, but in order to do it properly, this is how. Also, you try not to break the sticks when you bend them. You work very carefully. And also, you got to know what kind of rocks you're picking, because some of those white rocks are called limers and they explode. And you got to watch what kind of, you got to basically know what you're doing. You just can't go in there and get any old tree. You just can't go get any old rock. You got to know about the rock. You got to know about the willow. You got to know which ones are good for the winter, which ones are good for the summer. There's different willows. And these are some things that you got to know. So those are some of the things for the sweat lodge.